Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
All right, run that whole intro back right now.
All right, welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but the countdown continues as we are now only 24 days away from the start of the NFL season, closer and closer to some real football every single day. But today we are going to continue our rankings episodes, breaking down our tight end rankings for the upcoming season. But not only are we doing our tight end rankings, after that, we will be starting our live draft for our podcast redraft league to see if anyone can beat the bros. The league is a combination of our friends and some fans. So stay tuned for a long stream today. But let's get right into some tight end talk. So as always, when we start our rankings episodes, I like to discuss our strategy from the top. How early are you willing to take a tight end this season? And are you grabbing a top tight end, or are you probably waiting until later to draft and to pick one up?
Later.
Never been an early tight end guy.
Typically like to wait. But I mean, the top three right now are very juicy to kind of reach on because their volume is just going to be ridiculous. So they could be putting up like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 type numbers.
It can also depend on the size of your league. Like if you're in a 10-team league, the teams are already loaded. So why not just load up on the go a little early on the tight end and load up there as well? But yeah, I'm not an early tight end guy, and yeah, that usually bites me. But I like to take the risk.
So you're always like the last person to take a tight end.
The very last.
I see the potential. Like round 15, and you're like, all right, give me David and Njoku again.
Yeah, last year was Adam and Fursker and Troutman.
Yeah, brutal, absolutely brutal. I don't know how you do that.
I Jared Cook too.
I found myself in a couple mocks this year going early. It's tough. You have to really like change your mindset on your team when you do that. You have to look at your tight end as essentially your wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, because that's essentially where you're drafting them and the value you need from them. Whereas it just makes your team almost feel incomplete. So you kind of have to change your mindset when you do it. I do think the guys are juicy, but it is tough for me to reach that high as well. Like first round for Kelce and Andrews.
No shot.
A little too close. Second round, maybe, but I'm more comfortable waiting until at least the third round until I at least have solid running back, wide receiver, or at least a good duo of one or the other. So,
is it crazy to consider taking 2 tight ends in a row within the first 3 picks?
Yes,
like Kelce and Andrews or Kittle.
I actually had somebody do that in the league a couple years ago, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Kelce and
did
Kittle,
it work?
Like 2 years ago. No, he missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's still like an insane theory. I don't know. Not something I typically try to do. All right, let's discuss the top spot here for tight ends. Last year, we all came in assuming it's going to be Travis Kelce again, aside from Q, who was preying on the Chiefs' downfall. Travis Kelce and Mark, he got dethroned last year for Mark Andrews. So Mark Andrews is number 1, Kelce's number 2. Who do you prefer this year, and where are you trying to draft them?
I actually have Kittle at 2.
Okay,
but
spicy.
Currently, I mean, my rankings have Kittle at 2, but I don't like Lance that much, so I feel like he's going to bring Kelce down or Kittle down a bit. So maybe I would put Kelce at 2, but I would still take Andrews over him.
100%.
Even if Lamar's not playing. Sorry.
No, you're good. But regardless, I think Mark Andrews is going to have the most volume out of all tight ends this year with the loss of Hollywood Brown. Wide receiver 1 being Rashad Bateman. He's just going to see so many targets a game. And I would like to get him, if I'm able to get him maybe like early third round, I would 110% do it.
I still prefer Kelce.
I respect that.
I do.
He's going to get a lot of volume this year. I'm torn on the top 2 because I think both of their volume are increasing heavily.
Those 2 and Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts is going to be crazy.
But I guess I would prefer Andrews just because he's going later. So like,
yeah, Kelce is still going higher at their current ADPs. I'm preferring Andrews as well, just in general. Also, I'm still on the Andrews train here. I probably wouldn't take either of them though until at late second at the earliest, preferably early third. Like the number one overall pick is where I really consider doing like at that turn. If I have obviously Jonathan Taylor and then I get an elite wide receiver 1 or a good RB2 that falls to me, and then Mark Andrews is still sitting there, it's like, it's kind of juicy to pair them up right
Very
there.
juicy.
That's when I start considering it. Right there at 3-1 is really the best spot to grab one of those two. Moving on from them, Kyle Pitts seems to be next in line here for most of us. Obviously, Q mentioned Kittle, but if he is not, who do you prefer as the next tight end off of the board? And if Kyle Pitts is the next tight end you are taking, what are your expectations for him?
Definitely a lot more touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
The targets are kind of going to be similar, although they did lose Gage. Calvin Ridley's still suspended. They did bring in Drake London, but he's going to be the primary pass catcher on that offense for sure. So I still see him having a ton of volume, and the touchdowns should definitely increase.
Yeah,
If they played every game in London, Pitts would be tight end 1, no doubt.
For sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do like Pitts, but I do have Kittle ahead of him this year. Also, I know Q said he might move him down, but I just really like George Kittle this season. I just think his talent, when he is on the field, he shows it every single year. Like he can take over games, and I don't think it matters really. Trey Lance versus Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I know Jimmy might be a little bit safer, and they might be passing a little bit more, but for me, George Kittle's still George Kittle when he's healthy. The last 3 times he's played at least 14 games, he was a top 4 tight end each of those seasons. He gets a ton of volume on this offense, and now he has a lot more help around him to take away some of that pressure of him being the number 1 target. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Kittle's going to be just fine as long as he is healthy, and that's the major risk with him. But I'm still taking Kittle slightly over Pitts. I think I have them really close, though, more like 3A and 3B.
Respect it.
hater.
Yeah, even if I move Kittle down, I'm still putting him over Pitts slightly.
Yeah, I mean, it's close. All right, let's move on to some of our discrepancies here. Typically something we do for running backs and wide receivers with more rankings, but this year it seems like we're all kind of all over the place with different favorite tight ends. So we're going to run through the next 5 or so guys and see where we have them ranked. Starting with Darren Waller. T-Gods, you are the highest out of all of us.
Yeah, baby.
You have him at tight end 4. Q and Matt, you both have him at 5. I actually have him at 7.
Wow.
And he's currently being drafted as tight end 5, 46th overall. So Matt and Q, you're right where you have him. T-God's a little bit higher. I am lower. Who wants to start? Should I start?
Why do you have him so low?
Yeah, you can start.
All right, I'll start. Darren Waller thrives off of his volume. And I know some of that will be offset with now that he's going to be a little bit more open. But the last few years, like he's had his best seasons where he's getting like wide receiver 1 level targets. And now they have the best wide receiver in football on that team. I just don't think his volume is going to be as high. And I also don't think he's their number 1 red zone target anymore after Devontae Adams is there. So I just feel like some of that is going to go away from Darren Waller and obviously more towards Devontae Adams. And I think he will be a little bit more sufficient. Like his targets, he's going to be more open. He's going to catch more wide open passes. But I don't think he's going to have enough volume to put him into that top 5 territory. I just think he's a little bit below. There's some other guys that I like that I think their volume is going to increase. Also, that's why I'm moving Waller down a little bit.
I remember last year how crazy people were getting when after week 1 he had 19 targets, and like Gruden made it seem like the offense was going to be around him, but didn't seem to be the case. I do think though he's going to score more touchdowns this year. He only had 2, but he did miss 5 games. But one thing I could guarantee for sure is definitely more touchdowns because when they're in that red zone, that's just a problem for the defense.
Yeah, Adams and Waller is definitely going to be a problem. My fear is just the volume is going to go down a little bit, and there's a couple other guys that I think the volume's going up for that I put over him.
Like I feel like we kind of had the same reasons, but like we're looking at it differently. Like I think like yeah, his volume's going to go down, but like I feel like his efficiency is going to go up. Like I feel like he's definitely going to be more open. Like definitely in the red zone he's going to be more open. So like I think like it weighs itself out in my head. And like we've seen him finish tight end 2 and tight end 3. Like he's got what it takes. I know Devontae's there, but like I do believe in this offense. Like this whole offense as a whole. Like I think like all of them just like go up. I think it's gonna be a high scoring offense.
Yeah.
I do. We haven't seen it like very often with the Raiders, but I
I do believe in the Raiders this year also. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's easily back in the top 5. But I think the only reason I pushed him down also was a couple other guys. So let's move on to one that I do have above him, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is currently being drafted as tight end 6, 57th overall, so right after Waller. I actually have him at 5. T-Gods has him right where he's being drafted at 6. Q, you have him at 7. And Matt, you have him at 8.
Yeah.
Matt, you can start off for this one. Why do you not like Dalton Schultz this year?
I do like Dalton Schultz. I may have him a little bit too low, but there's just a couple other guys I like that I have ahead of him that I think could have more volume. CeeDee Lamb is going to be like the focal point of this offense along with like Zeke. And I still do think a lot of the targets that Amari Cooper vacated could go towards guys like Michael Gallup and like more of those role receivers. So it's not that I hate Dalton Schultz. It's just that I don't love him as much as you guys, but I definitely could move him up maybe a spot or two. But if you get Dalton Schultz, so be it. That's great for you because he is going to have a good year. But there's just a couple other guys I like having him.
You are so sleep, bro.
I could be.
You're so sleep.
I love me some Dalton Schultz this year, man.
Last year,
he had 104 targets, which isn't that much, but it's still a very solid like workload. And I think that's still going to go up. Amari Cooper leaving 103 targets himself. And Cedric Wilson also left. I know, obviously not the biggest name, but he did have 60 targets also. And James Washington's already down for the year. Michael Gallup, we've seen, has struggled to stay healthy throughout seasons. And even if he does stay healthy, we've seen him struggle on the field to be consistent. I think Dalton Schultz is the clear-cut number 2 on this offense behind CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb is going to have a great year also, but Dalton Schultz being behind on a team that may also be in a lot of tough competitive games this season. We saw their defense obviously improve last year, but they were still in a lot of close games. I don't think they're going to be down all of the time, but when they are down, they're going to be throwing, and Dalton Schultz is going to be a safety blanket for Dak throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just going to be like I said, I'm chasing volume. Dalton Schultz, give me that volume this year.
Me too.
Targets have to go up. And he was tight end 3 last year. So if his volume goes up, he has to be top 5 minimum.
Minimum.
If his volume goes up, which I think it will. All right, next one here, Q. You are the highest on this guy, Dallas Goedert. Maybe a little bit of bias, but that's okay. We love the Eagles bias on this podcast. Q, you have him at 6. Matt, you have him right behind at 7. I have him at 8. And T-Gods, you have him at 9. He is currently being drafted at 8, tight end, 876 overall. So, Q, Matt, you love him a lot more. Why do you guys love Goddard?
Where did he finish last year?
I think he was banged up for a couple of games.
But I made these rankings before the preseason game, and the preseason game backs my rankings up. We saw him score, and we saw Ertz. That was a preseason game against the Jets. He looks good. There's too many weapons on that field. Devontae Smith wasn't even on the field, and Dallas Goedert is going to be getting the ball a lot.
He was the 11th tight end last year, and he missed 2.5 games.
And Ertz was also
had
there
Ertz for the first half of the season.
Bro, what is up with these? Bro, Fantasy Pros has him as, it says he was tight end 8 last year.
Interesting. Sleeper has him at 11.
Ranks
Maybe
off.
I don't know. Maybe Fantasy Pros is not including the last week or something.
Dude, from tight end 8 to tight end 11, there's a difference of 0.9 points. I guess that's why.
Yeah, I mean, they were all very close. So either way, Goddard was a low-end tight end 1 last year. Do you think he's going to bump up into that mid tight end 1?
Yes, and we'll get to it later, but he might bump up to
top 5.
He might top 3.
Whoa, spicy. We
Okay.
shall see about that one. All right, moving on to Zach Ertz. I have Zach Ertz at 6. T-Gods has him at 8. Q has him at 8. Matt, you have him at 9. Matt, you have him right where he's being drafted. So we're all pretty high on Zach Ertz as a whole. He's going tight end 9, 91st overall, a couple picks before Dawson Knox. I don't know why everyone sleep on Zach Ertz.
I'm going to make a live move and move him above Dalton Schultz. So he's going to be number 7 for me.
All right. No hating on Dalton Schultz after we just talked about him. He is going to eat.
Above Hawkinson. I'm putting him at 7.
I like that. Talking about Hawkinson next.
As much as I hate Kyler Murray, when Zach Ertz joined the Cardinals, he was wide receiver 4 from week 7, which when he joined the team, to week 18, and finished tight end 5. No Hopkins for 6 games, and Hollywood isn't skilled. I don't think he's too skilled enough to be demanding so many targets. So I think Ertz can easily gain a lead within like the tight end competition and finish top 5 again.
Yeah.
Give me that all day. Like, I just think exactly what you said. DeAndre Hopkins missing 6 games is going to be significant early in the season. And Zach Ertz was a reliable target for Kyler last year as soon as he got there. Towards the end of the season, we saw him in the final 5 games. His targets were 7, 11, 13, 9, and 10. This dude was a volume monster, and that was without Hopkins. Even with Hopkins earlier on, he was still seeing at least 5 targets a game. Zach Ertz is going to put up a lot of targets. I know he's getting a little bit older. Maybe he lost a step, but I still think there's going to be enough volume in this offense with Hollywood Brown being the number 1 for the first 6 weeks. And even after that, Ertz is still going to be a favorable red zone target and a favorable target over the middle for Kyler. So
we were saying he lost a step in Philly, then he went to the Cardinals and was just as good. So yeah. I don't think any steps have been lost, especially if you're married to Julie Ertz.
Especially that. Definitely. All right. The last one for our discrepancies is TJ Hawkinson. So he's been in a little bit interesting this offseason with all the pieces they added. Matt, you have him all the way up at 6. T-Gods, you just moved him down to 8. I have him at 9. And you also have him at 9, I believe. I wrote T-God's name twice for some reason.
Yeah, you did.
Either way, he's going number 7 right now, 65th overall, right ahead of Goddard and after Schultz. So, Matt, you're closer to where he's at. You still have him a little bit higher than ADP. So why do you love him? And we'll discuss why we don't.
Because, like you mentioned, they did add a couple additional pieces. Hawk was banged up last year, but with all the additional pieces, Swift healthy in the backfield, I think that opens up a lot of the space on the field for Hawkinson to get open. Kind of like the same argument T-Gods had for Darren Waller with the addition of Devontae Adams. I just think this offense is going to look a lot better this year, definitely be a lot more efficient. And I think TJ Hawkinson could be one of the main beneficiaries of that, just from a more balanced offense. He might not see as much volume, but the targets that he sees definitely are going to be a lot more quality, should I say.
I agree also. I easily could see him still being in that top 5 range for tight ends. But the only thing that scares me, obviously, is all of the targets that have been added. Like, I know there was literally nothing last year to throw to until Amon-Ra kind of erupted late in the season, and that was actually without Hawkinson. But with Amon-Ra there, Chark already looking good in camp, and they have Jameson Williams, who's looking like he might even be ready for week 1 coming off that ACL. So they've got a lot of mouths to feed now. I know him and Goff obviously have a relationship already, but I'm just a little bit more nervous on Hawkinson this year than I was last year. I was super confident in him last year. This year, with all of the mouths to feed and still not being a great team, I don't know. A little bit less confident. I do think the touchdowns will be there. I just think he'll be more inconsistent this year than he has been in years past.
A bit more touchdown dependent, that's all.
He'll still be a mighty fine tight end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to some early and late round targets. So I guess we can each do one and then roll back. So Q, start us off. Who was your early tight end target?
Early? Does Goddard is he considered early? I guess it's early enough.
Early.
If we look at my rankings, then we'll consider him early.
You'll take him early, so we'll count it.
But from week 7 on, after Ertz was traded, he averaged 11.8 fantasy points per game, which was, where does that say, ranked as a tight end 8 for the season. So if Ertz wasn't there and if he didn't miss those games, could have easily maybe finished inside the top 8, top 5. But yeah, we saw this offense look good the other night, and he's going to be I think he's going to be the number 2 target on this team. As much as I love Devontae, it might go AJ than Dallas Goddard based on skill. So the Eagles are always good at incorporating the tight ends into their offense. So Dallas Goddard's extremely skilled and definitely can find his way into the
Good
top
news
5.
for him. They also traded JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah, plenty of targets being opened up with that
God,
one.
dude. He
What
sucked.
a mistake. Yeah.
Is he better than Tim Tebow at tight end?
Tebow.
Honestly, he's probably better than Tebow.
He maybe
Nah.
I don't think
He
he
had
made it
that
farther in the.
awful drop in preseason, and I wanted them to cut him on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. J. Jaws, we do not miss you. Hopefully retired soon.
Thanks for nothing.
We could have had DK Metcalf.
Now he has to compete with Noah Fant in Seattle.
Ugh.
There's no
I don't think he's competing.
Even with Noah
even
Fant.
T-God would admit
JJ.
Fant all
JJ
day
might
here.
win. He might win that
Stop.
battle.
You can't hate Fant that much.
Tebow could win.
Tebow could win. I'd rather see
Jesus
Tebow
on
win.
his side.
Tebow could not win. He is so washed up.
You're a hater.
He couldn't even make the Jags like fourth string tight end role.
He made it longer in the
Fluke.
preseason than JJ did.
I guess.
True.
All right. T-Gods. Early target. Who we thinking?
Early target. I'm thinking Mr. Kyle Pitts. And that's all just straight because of like opportunity. Like he's going to be fed. Like there's no one on that offense. Like Matt was saying, they lost Russell Gage. Calvin Ridley's still not playing. I'm pretty sure Drake London is already dealing with an injury. So like it like and they're going to be down every single game. Every single game they will be down. This just playing football, dude. Just like throwing it around, seeing what happens. But like Kyle Pitts, like he's a very good football player. Like we saw it last year. 68 receptions, 1,026 yards, only one touchdown, but fluke. Like Matt Ryan just sucks. But he was averaging 15.1 yards per reception. Like that's absurd. Like
Yeah. Deep target.
with almost 70 receptions, like that, bro. Like if he could just get touchdowns, like he probably would have been like top 3 if he had like 5 touchdowns. So like
Mariota kept Delaney Walker relevant for a little bit. He could easily improve Pitts.
Delaney Walker was nice. I'd love Delaney Walker.
Desmond Ridder looked really good. So Mariota better watch his heels. He might
Anybody, no matter who it is.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. There's only one target you really want to throw to right now.
There's only one
Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Well, Drake London still, but he is a little banged up already.
Maybe
so.
Cordero.
No thanks.
I'm not laughing at that. That's true.
All right, Matt. Who is your early tight end target?
Keeping it simple here. The reigning tight end one from last year, Mark Andrews. Probably gonna be one of the most targeted tight ends in the league this year. That Ravens offense is really lacking pass catchers, so he is going to be the number one option for Lamar all season long. He still is the best red zone threat on that team, aside from the running backs, honestly. So I just see the volume, his skill, everything combined I think he's going to repeat as tight end one. So I would have no problem reaching for Mark Andrews in any draft.
Yeah. Mark Andrews, you don't have to say anything. We know that man is a baller.
Yeah.
And even if Lamar holds out because of the whole contract thing, Huntley is literally like Lamar's clone. So I wouldn't be. He basically, with the games when Lamar was out last year, Huntley was the same player.
He looked good, but he is not Lamar. I don't want to go that far. Did you see Lamar put on 18 pounds of muscle this offseason?
He's a menace.
I don't know if that's even good. I mean, like, obviously it's good. Like, he's going to be able to take more hits, but he can't be as quick as he was. So
yeah, realistically, you can't put that much muscle on without some fat. So he's a little chubby now.
But Lamar's going to be Lamar's going to be a beast no matter what. All right, I'll go with my early target here. Give me all of the shares of Dalton Schultz. I just talked about him a few minutes ago here.
Take him.
The targets are going to be there. We saw him with 100 plus targets last year. Easily going to surpass that again this season with all of the vacated targets on this offense. He's going to be Dak's guy over the middle, while CD's going to be on the outside catching the long passes. Dalton Schultz is going to be the number one red zone target on this team. He's got to be. You're telling me I can get the tight end 3 essentially from last year at tight end 6 right now, 57th overall. I'll take him at that spot all day, pair him with a couple of running backs and wide receivers, then take my tight end right there. I'm taking that 10 times out of 10. Dalton Schultz, love him this year. I think he's going to push into top 5 territory again. Q, I'm throwing it back to you for your late round tight end target.
Late round tight end target is David Njoku. Currently the tight end 1 on the Browns because Austin Hooper left for the Titans. We did see him have a top 10 tight end season before. And with Brissett, he made Jack Doyle the number 1 target when he was in Indianapolis. So then Njoku, we saw the one game where he broke out for like 28 fantasy points. Well, he couldn't do that often because he was behind Hooper, but an offense that loves the tight end, their top 3 in target share, 2 tight end last year. So Njoku extremely skilled, and Brissett, whether it's Brissett, actually you hope it's Brissett because Watson, he is looking kind of stinky right now. But either way, Njoku could be a nice buy low sleeper leaving the draft.
Q, Vince is hurt that you didn't take Alberto.
I'm done with Alberto.
Oh.
Start him week 1.
Yeah,
I probably still am.
Greg Dulcich is the guy, so
he might be.
All right, T-Gods, who was your late round tight end target?
My late round tight end target is Cole Kmet. I mean, there's not really much to say here. A boring player on a boring team, but again, it's just coming down to opportunity. Like it's Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery, and then who knows. But last year he had 93 targets, which isn't too bad. And like he's still young. It's only his 3rd year in the league. Like there's still potential. He's still learning. But and he played every single game last year, so that's a little upside. But I don't know, it's just opportunity. I like guys with a lot of opportunity, and the Bears offense, I feel like anyone can emerge as that guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely with that.
Also, we got to give T-Guy some credit real quick because when he was roasting Romeo Dubes, like ever since that, he's apparently been very good. And I haven't heard of his name before T-Guy's brought him up, but now he's like, he could be the number 1 for Aaron Rodgers. At least I've heard good things about him.
All right.
Yeah, Dubes has had
Keep
some
an eye on him.
Maybe I'll apologize.
good talks come out of practice. Give me some Christian Watson.
Doobie.
He's just got to
Just take Allen Lazard. He's going to be the wide receiver 1.
All right.
Bobby Dunyan.
Way off topic. Matt, late round tight end target. We all know it's Bob Tunyon.
Let's
Yup.
go, Matt.
Live and die by it. Bob Tunyon, tight end 5 this year.
Not.
Late round tight end target, Dawson Knox. I feel like this is another situation where the tight end could have a lot of opportunity in this Bills passing game, one of the best passing offenses in the league, having Josh Allen throwing the ball. They did lose Cole Beasley. I'm not sure how much I trust Gabe Davis or any of those guys just yet. So I do believe it's going to be Stephon Diggs, of course, and then number 2 is going to be Dawson Knox. We saw flashes of him last year have really good games with Josh Allen. So I'm excited for another season of him. I can't wait to see what he could do because I definitely think he can improve a lot off of his performance last year.
Definitely. Dawson Knox is one that I've been targeting as well late in drafts. If he's fallen that low, there's a lot of targets open on that offense. So I like it. I'll wrap up here. My late round target is the same late round target I had last year. Unfortunately, last year he didn't get a shot to play last year. He didn't touch the field once. Irv Smith Jr. is currently going tight end 15, 149th overall. So essentially free if you're waiting until late in your draft. He's a great target to go after because this Vikings offense is going to be high powered. New head coach, offensive-minded head coach. They're going to want to throw more. Obviously, we all like to joke that Thielen may have lost a step, but Thielen's probably going to still be just fine. Justin Jefferson's obviously going to be elite. And Irv Smith Jr. coming in as the 3rd person here. He is going to be a beast. He's going to be an easy red zone target for Kirk Cousins. And we've seen Kirk Cousins have elite tight ends in the past. It was a while ago, but I don't think he's had any really good ones since Jordan Reed back in the day when he was on Washington. And in that season, he did have some good weapons around him with Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. So
I miss Pierre. He was nice.
Matt Jordan Reed was number 3 that year. So Irv Smith easily has some top 10 potential this season. Give me him all day.
Yeah, we saw the coach. He came from the Rams. Higbee, not that good, but he was the true number 1 on that team.
Yeah. Higbee
What'd Sean say,
no good.
He said that you also like the Adam Thielen has lost a step joke. I said
Never.
you didn't.
Nah. He gained a step, actually. So
He's got 3.
Gaining a step is a stretch.
he's going to have 12-plus touchdowns this year.
You're dreaming. You're dreaming, buddy.
You are dreaming.
Wake up.
You got to manifest it.
You can manifest these. Let's do some bold tight end takes. Q, you hinted at yours a little bit earlier, so let's start with you.
Straight up gave it away.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything much. I'm just going to say, that Goddard finishes top 3 because he is a vital part in this lead offense. And just to extend my bold take, I think Gronk makes a return. Only because I wanted to put him in my rankings when we were doing the rankings. I just had an itch. So I guess that's a sign he's coming back.
He'll be back. He always comes back.
And he'll finish top
probably
10.
back. He won't
Definitely
finish
will
top 10.
come back.
Yeah, Gronk drives me nuts. All right, T-Gods, what do you got?
So I think Sean will like this one. I personally don't think it's very bold, but I'm gonna say that Dalton Schultz repeats as a top 3 tight end. There's literally no reason why he should go down from what he did last year. Can anyone name one?
Because Kittle wasn't fully healthy, so that
It's just going to score more
This
touchdowns.
isn't about Kittle. This is about
no,
Dalton
but this is the
Schultz.
reason why he was so high, because the other guys were hurt.
It wasn't the 78 receptions or the 8 touchdowns. That wasn't the reason why.
I just
Just
think
'cause
if they
Kittle
all
was
played a
out?
full season. No, Pitts too. Pitts and Goddard, Ertz. Yeah.
Stop.
But
I'm telling you, Schultz is not that good.
how can you say that? He was top 3 last year.
Because of the factors around him.
He had
I
Amari Cooper
guarantee
still
you-
there last year.
I guarantee you the 78 receptions go up, the 808 yards go up, and the 8 touchdowns go up. I would bet you any amount of money they go up. There's
All right.
no reason
Well,
they should go down.
They might go up, but I don't think he's finishing top 5.
If
Yeah,
all that
I
goes
said
up,
top
how is he
3.
not finishing top
Yes.
5 or top 3?
He's not finished top 3.
Mr.
You're
Serious.
any hater for no reason, but you really think Goddard is going to finish top 3?
He's better than Dalton
That's
Schultz.
anything to
All
say.
right, Goddard might be more talented. The
No, he will
opportunity is
have
way
more
less.
Maybe.
More
AJ
opportunity.
Brown. We actually have a wide receiver.
We'll
one.
see. We'll see.
Q, I'm on your side. Go
Thanks.
Goddard.
Yeah, you have him low too.
I don't even care.
They're asleep.
Let
They're
Schultz
asleep.
fall
Let
to
him
me,
sleep.
please.
No, I'm taking him.
I'll give him to you.
Oh, please.
Draft him just
I'll
to trade
draft him and drop him. Disrespect him.
That's disrespectful. Then you got to use your
That's
fab
out
on
of
him.
pocket.
Like a bag of trash.
Just make everybody waste their fab.
All right, Matt.
Is he in 100 fab player? Would you spend all of it on him?
I'd consider dropping all my fab on Dalton Schultz to hit the waiver wire, especially if my tight end
See,
was
that's
like
all I
full
got to
commit.
do. That's where you get the advantage. You draft a player that they're going to spend 100 on and just drop.
That's
But
and
someone
it's a
like Dalton
bold
Schultz
move.
who's
Who's your
not
tight
that-
end gonna be?
But no, I'll draft someone who's better than I'll draft Goddard. Then wait the couple rounds. I'll draft
Your team-
Schultz.
Your team will be hurting at other positions because
Yeah,
you're
and
wasting
you'll
all
be
your
broke.
picks on tight ends to draft.
You'll be broke with your 0 fab.
This is awful. Stick to your cuff.
Look at that tight end strategy.
We'll see if that strategy works out tonight in our draft.
I can't wait to draft.
All right, Matt. Continue your Mark Andrews train. What do you got?
I did talk a lot about Mark Andrews, but he deserves it. He is going to finish with 1,500 plus receiving yards and 15 touchdowns.
Wait, did you say
Is
1,500
that like the
touchdowns?
best season for a tight end ever?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
15
He's still young.
touchdowns.
He has not lost a step at all. He's like the only receiving option there, aside from Bateman, which I keep saying. But yeah, Mark Andrews is going to see a ton of targets a game, and he damn near catches everything thrown his way regardless. So eat it,
All right.
bud.
All right. There's some high numbers. I'm looking up others tight ends that maybe got close to that.
He had 1,300 yards last year, and I think like 8 tight ends, a touchdown.
Yeah,
line.
tight
8
ends.
tight ends.
Oh,
Tony
God.
Gonzalez's best season was 1,258 yards, and his best touchdown
Mark
season
Andrews
was
already
11.
surpassed that
Oh my
last
God.
year. So all he needs is more touchdowns and maybe like 200 more yards.
1,500 touchdowns,
You say it like
8
it's
yards.
easy.
He could do it. If anybody's doing it this year, it's Mark Andrews.
Gronk probably has
Or
a better
Dalton Schultz,
season close to that.
Nah, not Dalton.
I'll put my money on Evan Ingram.
Dalton could do the 15
I'll trade you.
touchdowns part.
Gronk had 1,300 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. So
See,
you're talking Gronk's best season.
yeah.
And you're saying Mark Andrews is better than Gronk?
Accused
he could have a
offended
better
now.
season. If he put on Gronk's bionicle arm, he could easily do it.
All right.
Nice disintegrated brain.
All right. I'll wrap up the bold tight end takes. Zach Ertz is going to score 12 plus touchdowns this season, and his career high is only 8. Give me all the Zach Ertz shares late in drafts this year. Similar to Dalton Schultz, those are two of my favorite tight end targets. Zach Ertz, talked about him earlier with the Cardinals, with Kyler Murray. He's got a new life to him, I guess you could say. We saw him last year, like you mentioned, top 5 tight end after he came over to the Cardinals. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss 6 games. He's going to come back and still have to catch back up to speed. Hollywood Brown is wilding out, speeding in the offseason, but he should be good to go. And he's not going to be stealing any of that many targets away. He's going to be more of a deep threat. Rondale Moore, I like him. He's not going to steal all of Zach Ertz targets. Zach Ertz is going to be a target monster on this offense and a huge focal point for Kyler, especially in the red zone. Give me Zach Ertz, 12 touchdowns. It's happening.
He's definitely finishing over Goddard.
I would agree with that argument more than Schultz, because Ertz will finish over Schultz.
Oh my God.
I'm going to start putting him outside my top 10.
You're so
anti-Dalton.
Put Schultz on any team and I'll still feel the same way.
Why? Where is this hate coming from?
His numbers are fake because the good players were hurt. Give them all a healthy season, which will be this year.
Catches aren't fake.
Yes,
caught the passes.
All right.
You still had a good season.
That's an average season when everyone else is healthy.
At worst, it'd be like top 5 if like 2 other people were healthy.
Maybe I'm just blind.
Maybe I'm just blind.
Or maybe I'm just foreshadowing because I do that.
All right. I saw a couple of questions in the chat. We are going to answer them after we do some trivia. How much trivia do we have? Should we answer questions first?
No, we
have one a little
4 questions. They're not even long questions.
All right, we'll do 4 trivia questions, and then we'll answer some questions right after that. So feel free to drop any other questions you have in the chat. We'll go through. We'll start with weather disaster. We'll come back to that first. So stay tuned for that. You got an interesting question. Q, start us off. What do we got?
All right, starting off with some tight end trivia. Of these 4 tight ends, who comes in at the shortest? So your 4
question.
Tight ends are boring, so I had to bullshit out of my ass. All right, so we have Mike Gesicki, Irv Smith Jr., George Kittle, and the Muth, Pat Fryermuth. Who is the shortest tight end of the 4?
Locking it in solely by name.
And if you want to lock in the tallest too, you can try. Just for fun. Tallest, shortest.
Okay.
All right.
Should I just put them in order?
Pretty sure I know this Bulls.
All right, I'm
he's
putting.
The shortest, I'm leaving and not drafting after this pod.
It's 5 foot.
All right, I got mine.
About Kyler.
So the shortest is Irv Smith
Yes.
Jr. Yeah, where's your mic?
He just sounds like the smallest. Irv.
I'm just
Smith Jr.
I'm
the
just
shortest.
Irvin Smith. Yeah, Irv Smith 6'2".
What?
The tallest is Mike Gesicki at 6'6".
Do I get 2 points?
God, Gesicki's a monster.
Sure. I guess, Sean, who'd you put?
I put Kittle as the shortest.
Idiot.
And the tallest, who'd you put?
Irv Smith Jr. I thought he was huge.
Bias.
I'm still believing him.
Schultz
Still gonna
got
be
it.
a red zone target.
Schultz got both. All right.
I suck.
Question number
Fake fan.
2.
Fake Irv Smith stan.
What tight end has the highest ADP? Albert O, Hunter Henry, or Irv Smith? I wasn't supposed to put Irv Smith in 2 questions in a row, but I guess I love him.
You do love him.
Irv Smith, Albert O, I said Irv Smith. Irv Smith, Albert O, Hunter Henry.
Is this the tight end podcast or the Irv Smith podcast?
He might be at most talked about this season.
I got my answer.
I have mine as well.
It was Hunter Henry.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you
sir.
go.
Way.
Easy.
Who'd you
Easy
put?
peasy.
Did you
Albert O.
Good.
He's got to be last.
Yeah, he's last. No, actually, Irv's last, I think.
Oh.
Let me see. Irv is Alberto's last.
Yeah, Alberto's last.
Swear I see Alberto before all of them in every mock I do.
All right, third question.
Albert
Another
Poo.
random one. What tight end has the highest jersey number? The players are Mike Gesicki, Zach Ertz, David Njoku, and Mark Andrews. What player has the highest jersey number?
This
Layup.
is easy.
Has to be. If it's not,
I don't think you can go any higher than his number.
Yeah, I don't
as
either.
a tight end.
I don't either.
What if there's two? I'm just kidding. Y'all have an answer?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is Mark Andrews.
Yes,
We're snapping today.
sir.
Well, this
I'm
is the one
not.
that's going to throw everybody off today. Well,
Two of them,
besides
though.
Sean, he's already off.
Got her.
Last question.
Yeah,
Andrews
got
got
it.
Got
Got
her.
the answer.
How many
already got
letters
it.
are in Albert O's name?
Oh,
Last
my
name.
God.
Last name?
Albert Unga Bunga Wam. How many letters are in his last name?
I don't even know how
I'm
to
just
spell
guessing
it.
my favorite number because it could be around there.
Is it just one letter because it's O? He's Albert O.
It is not one letter.
All right, I'm gonna try and write it based on memory.
Soul
Matt,
sounds
is your
close.
favorite number 14?
Maybe.
Should I give you a cushion
Me
of one
too.
number higher, one number lower?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
then
I
y'all
didn't
might
write
get
14.
All right, I wrote my
14's
answer.
a good number, though.
It's a
I wrote
great
my answer.
Great number. That John hits on roulette.
It is 11.
No.
I wrote way too many.
What you put?
13.
13.
I had 14. What
Yep,
the
it's
frick?
11 letters in Unga
I
Bunga Wam.
tried to write it
Oh,
out and I had
wow.
12 and I was like, this still looks too short. So then I wrote 13.
Okwabunam.
Yeah, I did not spell it right.
Albert.
All right,
Good
Q, is that a
job.
wrap for the trivia here?
Yeah, Schultz may have been the MVP of today. Or T
Schultz.
guys. T guys went 4
MVP.
for 5.
All right. Let's
Okay.
answer some questions, starting with weather disaster. He said, any insight here, Ezekiel Elliott and a 2023 second versus the fourth overall pick in a rookie draft. Who do you like better?
I like fourth overall.
And a rookie.
Let's see. He said he has Saquon, David Montgomery, and AJ Dillon, and literally nobody else on his team.
Oh yeah, then I guess I would like the fourth.
Yeah. Keep number 4.
Yeah, I think I'd take the fourth pick also. There's a lot of like you already have
He
a
still
good
is
running back depth,
good,
and I don't
yeah,
think
and they're
Zeke's really
young.
gonna help you in that situation where if you are getting the fourth pick in the rookie draft, give me one of those wide receivers. I mean, it seems like he's actually trying to give up the fourth pick for Zeke, but with the running backs you have, I'd be fine.
Yeah, right.
I'd be all right with that.
Definitely.
I'd rather take Drake London or Traylon Burks and build up that wide receiver core, depending on who else you have.
Sucks. His wide receivers are already Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Diggs.
That's out of pocket.
16 league.
All right, let's see if there are any other questions here in the chat.
Thanks, weather disaster.
Somebody really posted an 8-team mock in that mock draft chat, and everybody was roasting him.
It really is funny. You get like shunned if you have under 10.
10 is like minimal.
Yeah.
And even then, 10 is like, come on.
We should
Bro.
do like a 8-team league for the same amount as Maine. Maybe like $100.
No way.
Most loaded team wins.
I'm looking for any other questions. Vince,
Wait,
you asked if you
Vince,
could ask
yeah.
questions not about tight ends. Yes, you can.
Nope.
Vince
Tight
also said
ends.
the Jaguars are making the offs by winning the division. He's capping
Stop.
heavy.
What did he say?
It's an outrageous
The
take.
Jaguars are winning the division.
Oh my God. Vince, put your helmet back on, bro.
Oh.
Out of
Say
pocket.
that.
I think.
Significantly higher in consensus to be by a few.
Weather disaster subbed.
I appreciate that. Vince, you said, what is your guys' opinion on Joe Burrow being significantly higher in
Don't
consensus
cancel me.
ADP by a few rounds over guys like Wilson, Brady, Drake, and Rodgers, who are way more proven?
I think he deserves it.
More
Mhm.
upside. A lot more upside.
Yeah, I think
Especially
it's
with
the
his
upside
receiving
there.
core.
I think it's close if you're talking like Brady, as well as maybe even Russell Wilson. But I think we saw Joe Burrow do it at a high level last year. And yes, he doesn't have the rushing upside of some of the other rushing quarterbacks out there. But with that wide receiver core, I expect a lot out of Joe Burrow this
He
year.
might be lighter on his feet without an appendix.
Yeah.
A little
He
more
might
rushing.
be.
Mm-hmm.
He- He quietly has a little bit of legs. I mean, I don't know if I would take Joe Burrow where he's being drafted like consistently. I have got him in a couple of leagues, and we got him pretty late actually.
Yeah, that was insane.
We just did a redraft league where we got him in the 8th round, and at that point, it was like a no-brainer. You had to take Joe Burrow. But I have Tom Brady one spot below him. I think they're pretty close this year for me, and then a little bit lower than
Brady
that.
ever fall off?
No, not till.
I mean, I'm done predicting his downfall. Like people have been predicting Brady's downfall for the last decade. It's like, up, this is the year. It's over. And then he keeps pushing through. So absolutely insane. Vince says, no way the Bengals steamroll another 12 wins Super Bowl slump. Yeah, they may not win as many games, but if they're down more, they're still going to be throwing. So
I do like the hot take of them not making the playoffs. I couldn't ride with that, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a lot of what's it called? A competition in that division with the Ravens. It's going to be tough. And then if Deshaun Watson comes back and is pretty decent, pretty good, like we've seen, the Browns could also be a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Not trying to downplay it. You know what I mean?
You downplayed it.
I did. You're right. You got me. Right-handed. All right. Going off the rails here. We're going to take a quick break before the live draft. So I'll do a quick outro. I know you guys are still here. Well, quick question from Schultz before we take this break.
Be back in like 7 minutes.
Yeah. Does Zach Ertz still have starting tight end value after D-Hop comes back? Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
I still think he's the, at worst, third option on a high-powered offense. It's going to be throwing a lot. So most tight ends are third options anyways. Give me Zach Ertz there.
Yeah.
Going to do a quick outro for the people that are watching this after the fact. So that's a wrap for the tight end rankings episode. This week, we're not sure what our schedule is going to be for this Thursday. I am going on vacation, but we will let you know on all of our social medias. So make sure you're following us there. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Look up Super Fantasy Bros. We'll be there. Also, if you do miss podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want to get your podcast, it's out there. We'll be back in like 5-ish minutes. So peace for now.